Our skin is a living organ, and it's the largest organ that we have. And you know some things that affect our bodies and the organs in our body? Weather, travel, diet, just a couple of things. And so as we transition into the cooler months of the year, I want to break down some tips and tricks on what you can do to keep your skin glowing, even though the weather's changing and your skin might be responding in a certain way. I've got all the tips and tricks on how to modify your skincare routine and things you can do to prevent dryness, sensitivity, irritation, etc. I'm Jordan Harper, board certified nurse practitioner, founder and CEO of Barefaced, a results-driven skincare line all around the philosophy less but better. I've been in the medical field for over 10 years, treated thousands of patients, and if you like skincare, if you like aesthetics, I break down different topics each week on my channel. So if that sounds like something of interest to you, don't forget to hit subscribe. First things first, let's talk about why the skin gets more dry in the winter, why it can become more sensitive and reactive. It's a handful of factors, and this can also happen when you're traveling, so this kind of applies to both scenarios. The cooler air, the lower humidity, being indoors more frequently, all of those things suck the moisture right out of the skin, and it's called transepidermal water loss. What that can do is that can weaken the skin moisture barrier. Now, the skin barrier is basically like a shield that protects the skin from irritants that it's exposed to, environmental exposure, throughout the day. So you want that to be strong. Well, a weakened skin barrier is going to be more vulnerable. It's going to let out more water. It's going to lose more moisture, and it's going to be more vulnerable to irritants. Basically, the atmosphere is a recipe for dry, reactive skin during this time. Don't even get me started if you live in a city. We're exposed to so much stuff. Our skin is fighting for its life during the day, and in the winter, it's just like, maybe fighting a little harder in different ways. Winter and summer both bring their own challenges, so treating the skin appropriately in each season will help your skin feel and look better throughout the season without experiencing a lot of excess dryness, irritation, etc. The most common skin condition that people express concerns with in the winter and cooler months is dry skin. And if your skin is also feeling dry, flaky, and itchy, this is your skin saying, hey, I'm dehydrated, I need more moisture. It's likely losing a lot of moisture from the reasons I mentioned earlier. If you're starting to experience these symptoms of dryness, sensitivity, flakiness, itchiness, make sure you are doing these 3 things to help protect the skin and repair the skin moisture barrier. 1, moisturize. You don't just want to use any moisturizer. You want to use one with ceramides, humectants, hyaluronic acid, and glycerin to draw moisture into the skin. You also want to look into adding an occlusive barrier at night to lock in that hydration. This is often a misstep because you think moisturizer can do everything. An occlusive barrier would be like a Vaseline, an Aquaphor. And if you do this, it will actually lock in all that moisture and you'll wake up and your skin will feel so much more hydrated. This also helps prevent the transepidermal water loss I was talking about. The occlusive barrier locks in all that hydration. So moisturize with an occlusive barrier at night, especially if you're feeling really dry. This can be transformative. This is also known as slugging at night, if you've heard of that term. Number 2, exfoliation. Healthy skin is honestly just a balance of exfoliation and hydration and using those at the right frequencies. And seasonally, that frequency might change. And in the winter, you might not exfoliate the skin as much. I'm a big fan of chemical exfoliation over physical exfoliation. Chemical exfoliation is not only superior at getting the dead, dull skin off the surface, it also is going to improve your product penetration afterwards. It's just so much better. An example of that would be with AHAs like glycolic acid, lactic acid, mandelic acid. Those are really great chemical exfoliants to gently exfoliate the skin. I think there's a common misperception that if your skin is dry and flaky, that you need to just moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. And yes, that's a part of it, but you need to have a balance of exfoliation. Now, if you're new to exfoliation or you're sensitive or reactive, you just start exfoliating 1 to 2 times a week. Depending on your skin type and the product that you use will depend on the frequency that you exfoliate. So for Barefaced, we have a gentle exfoliant that most skin types can tolerate every day, and that's our toning pads. We formulated them to use every day. They not only gently exfoliate the skin, take the dead skin cells off the surface, they also help with product penetration. They also have hydrators in there. They have redness reducers in there. So they're a combination of things. They do have exfoliating properties, so they help the skin smoothing. If you're using a stronger exfoliant, you definitely don't want to be using that every day, and that's something you might only use once a week. So it all depends on the exfoliants that you're using and your skin type, but my general recommendation with any exfoliant is if you're starting it for the very first time, just start it 1 to 2 times a week and gradually build as tolerated. And in the winter, you'll probably notice you're going to use an exfoliant less than in the summer because of the decrease in humidity, and you're just going to have less oil production in the skin. So typically you're going to use exfoliants less in the winter than you are in the summer. but you still need them. Don't forget. Like I mentioned before, dry, flaky skin, the recipe is not just to moisturize. You want to add in that exfoliant. And if you don't add in the exfoliant, and if you don't get rid of those dead, dull skin cells on the surface, your products and your moisturizer can't even do its thing. So that's why I'm saying the key to healthy skin is the balance of hydrators and exfoliants. And the third thing you're going to want to make sure you use every single day is your antioxidant, like a vitamin C serum. And this is going to further help protect the skin from the environmental exposure that we're all exposed to every single day. Like I said, the skin is fighting for its life. I think of vitamin C when you put it on your skin as like having little knives, and it's like out there fighting free radical damage, anything that's going to try to hurt and harm the skin, and that's going to help support the skin barrier. So again, keeping the skin barrier healthy. I didn't say sunscreen because it's a must, and I don't care what day it is, I don't care what time of year it is, your daily sunscreen is essential to having healthy skin. So like that's just a non-negotiable. That's just always happening no matter what. There have been studies that show you are going to have higher transepidermal water loss, higher moisture loss to the skin when you're not using a sunscreen. So a sunscreen is just like, it's a non-negotiable. The other three, moisturize, exfoliant, vitamin C. Now, if you're someone who deals with eczema, you likely experience more flare-ups in the cooler months because of the lack of moisture. This is very, very common. Being on the offense instead of the defense can be really helpful. So keeping the skin barrier healthy can reduce the amount of flare-ups that you have, and obviously that's the goal. If this is you, gentle is the name of the game, and avoiding things like fragrances, warm, hot showers that just feel so great, even physical exfoliation, and then adding in things, really soothing ingredients. I think of even like colloidal oatmeal is really great. If you have kids who have eczema, this can be really great to reapply to the skin, especially the skin on the body if you're struggling with eczema. An ingredient that I love, and I've used it for years in practice, and I love it in your day-to-day skincare routine, is hypochlorous acid. You may have heard of this ingredient before, but I love this ingredient because we do our AM skincare routine, we do our PM skincare routine. But what are we doing like throughout the day? Like our skincare routine should not just be limited to the twice a day, and how can we support the skin throughout the day? Now, hypochlorous acid is really cool because it's as strong as bleach, but as gentle as water. And so that sounds a little scary because it's like, do I want to put bleach on my skin? But there's also studies showing that hypochlorous can be not only antibacterial, but antiviral, antifungal. There's a host of benefits. And the thing with hypochlorous is the frequency of use. So the goal with it is using it around 3 to 5 times a day, because the more you use it, the more effective it is. It's not the instant effect, it's the cumulative effect. I think of it as helping your skin repair itself and doing that throughout the day. So you're basically taking skincare on the go. I don't use hypochlorous as part of my AM or PM routine because you don't want to blend it with your products because it can negate the efficacy of the products that you use. So using it during the day and supporting your skin throughout the day can be really helpful, especially if you struggle with eczema, dry skin. This is a great thing to have in your skincare arsenal to just take in your purse to go, keep in your car, use after a workout. This is going to really help support the skin during the winter months. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have to moisturize. It doesn't mean you don't have to exfoliate, wear a vitamin C or a sunscreen. This is a really incredible way to support your skin on the go throughout the day. The biggest things that I want you to take away from this in modifying your skincare routine from summer to winter: reduce the amount that you are exfoliating if you are experiencing dryness. And that may mean if you're a barefaced user and use toning pads, maybe that means cutting back to 3 times a week. Or if you're typically using them twice a day, maybe you're using them once a day. When I say listen to your skin, that means if your skin is still feeling dry or sensitive, just cut back frequency of use by a little bit. If that resolves it, then keep up that frequency of use. You might notice when you travel, you feel a little bit more dry. All of those things are completely normal and expected, and that's how you can modify your skincare routine so it serves your skin well. Because again, our skin is an organ. We have to listen to our skin. It's not just going to do the same thing every day because we're exposed to different stuff every single day, and it's fighting for its life. Reduce your frequency of exfoliation, but don't forget to exfoliate. Moisturize. Consider adding in an occlusive barrier with your moisturization. I love using Perfectionist, and I just do a couple extra drops in my hydrating lotion to add an extra layer of hydration and lock in all that moisture. SPF, of course, because it's a non-negotiable. You have to be using that every day, no matter what. Antioxidants are your best friend all year long. I think of them as your protection during the day, and they help with repair and correction at night. That's why I love a twice daily usage of a vitamin C serum, because they have different functionalities morning and night. Hypochlorous acid is your best friend, honestly, all year round, but especially in the winter. When you need added support to support the skin barrier, strengthen the skin barrier, help fight redness, sensitivity, itching, dry skin, acne, that is a great way to support the skin throughout the day. Just make sure you're not using it in your morning and evening routine. If you do want to use it, make sure your skin is completely dry after spritzing it before applying the rest of your skincare. Last but not least, let's not forget about our retinoid. A lot of people tend to stop their retinoids in the winter, which you should not do because their skin starts to feel dry. That's why you want to use a retinoid that your skin can tolerate consistently. I love retinol skin therapy. We use a retinaldehyde, which is encapsulated in a time-release formulation. It's very well tolerated. So instead of a tretinoin, which starts working right away and can be extremely irritating on a lot of skin types, retinaldehyde is very gentle on the skin, but still very potent. It's an estimated 20 times more effective and more potent than all retinols, but much less irritating. I love retinaldehyde, and that's why we chose to use retinaldehyde in retinol skin therapy. We also boosted the formulation with bakuchiol, which helps retinol work longer and more effectively on the skin, and it also helps reduce the sensitivity that you experience with retinoids. So again, don't stop your retinoid because we never want to stop boosting cellular turnover. Just make sure you're using one that your skin can tolerate using nightly. It's not about using the strongest retinoid, it's about using products consistently. We've got decreasing our exfoliation if needed, making sure to moisturize, adding in an occlusive barrier at night, which can be really helpful to lock in that hydration, antioxidant usage twice a day, consistency with your retinoid, obviously your SPF, and then another hack that I have in the morning, just cleansing your face with water and avoiding a cleanser. This can really be helpful if you're struggling with dry skin. If you are going to an event and you want your skin to be glowy, let's think of a holiday event. If you want your skin to be glowing, a collagen mask, sleeping in a collagen mask the night before can be amazing. I'll link the one I've been using here. And it's a really good way to get a really nice event glow. So whether you have a holiday party, a wedding, New Year's Eve, this is a great time to like add in that mask. This is nothing that I would probably, I mean, sure, you can do this weekly, but I find like these weekly masks a little challenging to do. So I tend to do this just before like an event where I like really want my skin to be glowy. So I'll link that one here if you want to try it before an event. Let me know if you have any other questions on how to modify your routine, what to do in the winter. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more skincare tips.